stop for a moment and focus on what is really happening in your interactions with women, because there is a layer here that most men completely overlook. Women rarely express attraction in a direct or obvious way. They do not usually walk up and clearly state what they feel or openly say they want to get closer to you. Instead, their interest shows itself in quiet, subtle signals, small behaviors, soft changes in how they act around you. And if you are not paying attention to those details, you can miss the signs completely without even realizing it. Attraction, especially in the beginning, is not loud or dramatic. It does not arrive as big declarations or clear statements. It is subtle, it is controlled. It reveals itself slowly through behavior rather than words. A woman may feel a real sense of connection toward you, but instead of saying it directly, she expresses it through small actions that can easily look normal on the surface but carry a deeper meaning underneath. This is where most men get confused, not because they lack awareness, but because they are expecting something obvious, something clear, something spoken. But genuine emotional interest does not usually work that way. It develops gradually. It shows itself through patterns over time, and if you cannot recognize those patterns, you may miss the opportunity even when it is right in front of you. So let's break this down in a simple way and look at the key signals that often appear when a woman feels drawn toward you in a deeper, more intimate way. The first sign is physical touch. When a woman is becoming comfortable with you and feels attraction building, she often starts creating small moments of contact. These are not dramatic or forced gestures, they feel natural and casual. She might lightly touch your arm while laughing. She might gently adjust something on your shirt. She might brush against you while passing by or during conversation without any clear reason. On the surface, these actions seem harmless, even accidental, but in reality, touch is one of the most powerful ways humans build connection. It reduces emotional distance, it creates familiarity, and when she is the one initiating it, it often means she is testing the space between you and her. She is observing how you respond to closeness. If you pull away or act uncomfortable, she may interpret that as lack of interest. But if you stay relaxed and respond naturally, it reinforces comfort and allows attraction to grow in a steady, natural way. These small touches are not meaningless. They are quiet signals of comfort and curiosity. The second sign is emotional openness. This is one of the clearest indicators that something is shifting in how she sees you. When a woman begins to share personal parts of her life with you, she is moving beyond surface level interaction. She is allowing you into a more private emotional space. She may start talking about things she does not usually discuss with others, her past experiences, her fears, her struggles, or even moments that shaped her emotionally. This is not casual conversation anymore. This is trust being extended. People do not open up deeply to just anyone. Emotional sharing is selective. It happens when someone feels safe, understood, and not judged. So, when she begins to reveal these layers to you, it is a sign that she feels a level of comfort and emotional connection in your presence. And that kind of openness naturally builds intimacy, because emotional closeness always comes before deeper connection. The third sign is intentional one on one time. This is something many men completely overlook because it does not always look obvious at first. But pay attention closely. When a woman is interested in building intimacy, she will often find ways to create space where it is just the two of you. She may suggest continuing a conversation after a group setting ends. She might stay behind a little longer when others leave. She may look for excuses to talk privately instead of staying in a crowd. Even simple suggestions like walking together, sitting slightly away from others, or finding quiet moments to talk can all be meaningful. The key here is intention. She is not just being polite or passing time. She is choosing environments where connection can develop without distractions. One on one space removes social noise. It creates a more personal atmosphere, and in that space, emotional energy becomes more noticeable and more focused. In those moments, the conversation usually feels different too. It becomes slower, more personal, more engaged. There is more attention in her presence, more consistency in eye contact, and more willingness to keep the interaction going instead of ending it quickly. This is not random behavior, it is part of a pattern of creating closeness in a controlled and natural way. And once you begin to understand these early signs, touch, emotional openness, and intentional time, you start to notice how connection is actually built in real life, not through words alone, but through repeated subtle actions that reveal interest over time. And this is only the beginning. She might also stay behind when everyone else has already left, or she may start texting you directly instead of staying in group chats where everything feels more public and less personal. On the surface, these moments can look like coincidence or simple convenience, but they usually are not. What is really happening is that she is quietly creating situations where the connection between you can grow without outside noise or distractions. Because real emotional connection rarely develops in group settings, it develops in private focused moments where two people are actually paying attention to each other without interruption. The fourth sign is mirroring. When a woman feels drawn to you, she will often begin to reflect your behavior without consciously realizing it. If you lean in slightly during conversation, she may do the same. If you slow down your speech, she naturally matches your pace. If you start using certain expressions or words, she may begin using them too. This is not planned or controlled. It happens automatically as a response to emotional alignment. Her subconscious mind is trying to build a sense of harmony with you. It is a quiet form of connection where she is essentially syncing with your energy and rhythm. When you notice this kind of matching behavior, it is usually a strong sign that she feels comfortable, engaged, and emotionally in tune with you. The fifth sign is the way she talks about the future. When a woman begins to include you in future oriented language, even in small and casual ways, it often signals growing emotional attachment. She might say things like, "We should go there sometime," or "We can try that one day." These may sound like simple phrases, but they carry more meaning than they appear to. She is no longer thinking only in terms of the present moment. She is starting to place you inside imagined future experiences. That subtle shift from I to we is important. It shows that in her mind, you are no longer just someone she is talking to right now, but someone who naturally fits into her future plans, even if those plans are still unspoken and unstructured. The sixth sign is her voice. This is one of the most overlooked indicators, yet it can be very revealing. When a woman feels attraction or emotional comfort, her voice often changes in tone and rhythm when she speaks to you. It may become softer, more relaxed, and slightly slower compared to how she speaks with others. This is not something she consciously controls. It is a natural response to emotional state. Her nervous system relaxes differently around someone she feels connected to, and that shift is reflected in her voice. If you pay close attention, you will often notice a clear difference between how she speaks to you versus how she speaks in other situations. And sometimes that difference communicates more than her actual words ever could. Now step back and look at all of these signs together: physical touch, emotional openness, one on one time, mirroring, future focused language, voice changes. Individually, each behavior might seem small or insignificant, but when several of them appear consistently, they form a pattern that is difficult to ignore. It is no longer random, it is not coincidence, it is communication happening through behavior instead of words. Most men miss this entirely because they are waiting for something direct and obvious. But genuine attraction does not usually begin in loud or dramatic ways. It starts quietly, it builds slowly, it reveals itself through repeated subtle signals that only make sense when you understand what to look for. And once you do understand it, your perspective changes completely. You stop guessing, you stop overthinking every interaction, and instead, you begin to recognize what is already being shown to you clearly through behavior. Because attraction is not something you force or chase, it is something you notice. And when you can see it for what it really is, you carry yourself differently, with more calm, more awareness, and a quiet confidence that naturally strengthens every connection you build. When you put all of this together, the message becomes very clear. Attraction is rarely spoken out loud in the beginning. It is not something most people announce or explain. Instead, it is something that shows itself quietly through behavior, timing, tone, and small repeated actions that build up over time. If you only wait for direct words, you will miss most of what is actually being communicated. But when you learn to recognize the subtle patterns, touch, emotional openness, private attention, mirroring, future focused language, and changes in voice, you start to see the real picture with much more clarity. And once you see it, everything changes. You stop second guessing every interaction. You stop searching for constant confirmation. You begin to understand what is naturally unfolding in front of you without forcing it or over analyzing it. Because real connection is not about pressure or guessing games, it is about awareness. It is about noticing what is already being shown through actions rather than words. And when you reach that level of awareness, you don't just interact differently with women, you interact with more calmness, more confidence, and a deeper understanding of human behavior itself.